DeMario, Raz-B Thornton was in the group B2K. Now, he released this video in which Ray J. Norwood appears to be asking him to recount his abuse allegations against Chris Stokes. That's a whole nother rabbit hole, the Chris Stokes rabbit hole, but we're going to stay with this, right? His allegations were against Chris Stokes and Marques Houston. Now, this in itself is disturbing, but apparently Ray J was calling on behalf of Diddy and Jay-Z. Now, why would they be getting involved with that? Huh. Now, they be saying birds of a feather, right?
Done. I got you. I got you. I got you, Ray, and I need you to have me too, because I think I.
Because it's like, damn, like you didn't even really have to mention a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like you really didn't even have to mention a nigga. But I know what you were saying, though. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I respect you, Ray. Nah, I would never want to disrespect you, your mom, or your sister.
But you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. But, and I talked to that, guess who else I talked to tonight?
Who?
Talked to Marques Houston tonight, nigga.
What that nigga had to say?
He was just like, trying to eat and deny the shit, dog. Wow. He did not deny it, man. I didn't ask him for the truth, and he was like, just like, not saying it wasn't.
Yeah, I got you, Ray. On my mama, nigga, I got you. On God in heaven, nigga, I got you. On God and on my life, nigga, that I died and out of my sleep, my nigga. You never did nothing wrong to me, nigga. You always had my back, nigga. You always showed me love. I got you.
You was just talking like, oh yeah, ask Ray like it's this song, but don't nobody know about the shit.
Got you. Okay. So what I do is I do some kind of like little video on World Star. I make it real organic, but I do like a little video where I'm playing a song or whatever, and I clear that shit up for everybody or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I can either do it that way. Hold on.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't even want you to play the song. Like, I just want you to be like, because I'm on a whole other page, and like, you know, I got endorsers and shit. I'm getting a lot of paper now.
I feel you.
So I got niggas, you know what I'm saying, hitting me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can't diss anybody that's any kind
Yep.
that's sexual.
Which brings us to Usher. Remember when Puff let it slip that he and Usher slept in the same bed?
Thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No. I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. You know, shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, just let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even. Like, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Fresh
off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, I mean, damn, pause, but like, check this out. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
what the fuck did Puff just say? Nobody's going to acknowledge this for me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes. And we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was fucking stupid. Listen,
we having a good time. Yo, Usher made it in the... Hey, yo.
Moved to New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans.
Jodeci,
Mary J. Blige, they didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And what time, do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
what
like
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
See?
Now, forgive me again because I know this gets graphic, but it's the nature of the subject matter. According to Gene Deal, Diddy once sent Usher to the hospital.
Mentioned other people platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business. Right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bro, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember, Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp.
I also did a whole episode on Justin Bieber and the public concern there is for him after all these allegations are coming out. The link for that will be in the description too, so be sure to check that out. Anyway, the word on the street is that Usher is the one who made Justin Bieber accessible to Diddy.
Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute, and his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first. Yeah. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? now that we know what Diddy's really like. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there.
A viral video going around seemingly shows Diddy grooming Justin.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
We're going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go get some girls.
A lot of folks think it's creepy, and it is, but Diddy's bodyguard claims it was just a photo op and they were only together for a couple hours. What do you guys think?
Beaver was my time. And with Beaver being my time,
you gotta say Beaver.
Beaver.
I heard a little Beaver. I was like, Kato heard it too.
I seen Beaver when he was 15, and actually in that excerpt inside the house where he was like, "Yo, you want one of these?" And it was a Lamborghini. He actually told me to pull the Lamborghini out, pull it in the front, and I pulled it in the front. So it was me, him, Scooter, what's his name? Scooter
Scooter Brock.
Scooter Brown,
yeah. Yep.
It was him, and it was just basically one of them phone calls like, "Yo, I'm in town. I'm going to bring Justin by. I want you to holler at him for a little while." And he just hollered at him they ain't stayed together 48 hours and all that. He just was talking shit right there. He stayed there for about an hour or two, blah, 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 and he got up out of there.
But the thing is, we don't need to speculate to understand that Diddy was inappropriate with Justin Bieber, right? Here, we can see P. Diddy and the Game giving the underage Justin Bieber alcohol. Some believe Justin was drugged and raped repeatedly that night.
Welcome to the family, John.
Diddy seems to really like children, but I don't mean that in a good way. Here he is inviting a preteen to one of his parties. Innocent or not?
Coming to the after party alone? Yeah! Good, you're doing so good.
And did you catch that clip of him greeting Jay-Z in a room full of little girls? He allegedly even used children as party favors.
So we get there, and that's when stuff got weird. And that's why they lock up our phones, because they know what we see in there, it's he can get in trouble, like right now. So basically, we arrived, security guard patted us down. They put our phone in this little bubble case. So the bubble case is closed. They can't get unlocked until we walk out. So I'm walking around or whatever. So one of his sons, I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was like recruiting like whoever they wanted to go inside the house, because the freak off is inside the house and in the backyard. I'm like, okay, let me just go in the house. So I told my friend, like, wait right here, girl, let me just put on these shoes, see what this house is about. Walk up in there. I don't judge people, because at the time I was just smoking weed. But when people are out of their mind, and when people, what you don't want to be a part of. And it's just like, I'm seeing stuff that you see on the movies. This corner, this got going on. This corner, they over here doing this. This corner, they over there having sex. This corner, I'm just going to say, because I don't know what I can say, because I'm not trying to be incriminating myself, but they were dressed up like little Harajuku Barbies.
Like what?
Little people, okay? We're not going to say what type of little people, but like a fetish. And I'm looking like, what are they doing here? Like dressed up, little red lipstick, like they weren't supposed to be there. But I'm just looking like maybe it's some type of production going on. But why would they be at this party at 7 o'clock in the morning with grown people? Like why would they be here? So I just, why me go in the house and why not the girl? So now you're picking and choosing. So it's fishy to me. So when all this stuff started coming out, I was like, I knew I was right. I knew it. Like, it ain't no doubt about that P. Diddy was doing all that. And like I say, I don't judge because I've been around people doing cocaine. But these hard drugs that they was doing and just, I ain't gonna lie, it was orgies and stuff going on. So all of this stuff going on, I'm like, why is people doing stuff all in the open? Like, that's just offending me and assaulting me, period.
Diddy parties. Those are assault parties, and I was one of the kids that was one of the party favors. And a party favors means that you're set on top of a table and you're used as a toy for anybody who comes across the table or who wants to party at a certain time of night when the music stops and then the DJ starts flashing all these lights and they close the doors, and then everybody turns into like a frenzy and starts going into a crazed animal-like demonic state, and you have no idea what's going on. And yes, there was a time where I was just like completely don't give a shit because it happened, and I was the type of kid that thought that, you know, you're in the presence of royalty and they make it seem like you're in the presence of Hollywood, so you should be honored and you should be appreciating that you're there. And I was that person. I totally acted like that. I was like, oh, it's fine, you know, it really doesn't matter. But then it really did matter when my pimp was like, he had rules. He had lots of rules, and it was more money. And if you know the difference between a pimp, a John, and a trafficker, the trafficker is the supplier, but the pimp is collecting the money and the John is doing the buying. So if the pimp is saying that full house, actual, full-blown sex is, by the way, kids, don't watch this. Goodbye. I love you. Goodbye. If you found my stuff, get off right now. This is the moment where I'm telling you I'm angry. I forgot to put that reminder in the beginning. Okay, cool. Goodbye. What was I saying? Full sex. Full house sex. Thank you. If the pimp paid for, if there's rules to full house sex and there's rules to and there's rules to all kind of different jobs. Okay, so at a certain point, I was not brought or traded for, but that didn't matter to a few celebrities that were there. It's not just celebrities, there's a lot of different people. They called it an all-black party, but it was me.
And Jaguar Wright has just publicly accused Will and Jada Smith of allegedly sending their son Jaden to Diddy in a recent explosive interview. It's becoming increasingly apparent that Jaguar might have a personal vendetta against the Smiths. However, one thing is clear. Jaguar is always unafraid to speak her truth, no matter how controversial. In a recent interview, Jaguar made a startling claim, alleging that Will and Jada have been circulating their son within the industry. She further shocked listeners with another explosive accusation, hinting that Will had engaged in inappropriate behavior with his own son.
Jada Pinkett has written a book where she reveals that multiple times she tried to commit suicide.
I don't know why she keeps trying. She just get it done. Don't be bad at everything. You was an alright actress, you a terrible wife, you was a bad mother.
These allegations didn't come as a surprise, given the persistent rumors about Will and Jada's questionable parenting. Allegedly, they've exposed their children to various controversial influences from a very young age, ranging from Issa to Dr. W. This environment supposedly drove Jaden towards Diddy and even led him to seek emancipation from his parents. It's not entirely unexpected, considering the rumors about Will and Jada's swinger lifestyle and Jada's affair with her son's best friend. It feels like we're trapped in a bizarre reality. At this juncture, we truly need to
You was an alright actress, you a terrible wife, you was a bad mother. You was a who knew that your husband was doing things to boys and did stuff to your son and you ain't do shit about it. Bilal told me everything.
They're good friend who
Bilal told me, Jada. He told me that you knew Will was f***ing your child. Yes, he did. Wonder why he left that out of his Tasha K interview.
Yeah, but in that interview, he said a lot. He said a lot.
He said everything but the thing that was important. That he know that Will Smith raped Jaden, he raped Bashir, and he raped Neek Mills, and you know, Bilal. Now you know how far in the desert you run. You'll go from a Philly to a Sam, they'll still get you.
Was Diddy conducting satanic rituals? I don't know, but there is this one item found in Cassie Ventura's leaked court documents. She would provide him with her monthly flow, which they ate at their parties. Yeah, so there's that.
My name is Allison Leilani Carter. In 2020, I went viral, and we lost our home. We lost our animals. We lost everything. I have been screaming underwater since I was 3 months old. I went into foster care at 13, 14. We tried to do a case against Riverside County Child Protective Services because Riverside County, do you hear me? Riverside County Child Protective Services was involved in my trafficking. I never thought that we would see the day where Diddy would get arrested, and I told you guys in that Maria Z interview in 2021 that no one tells on Diddy. P. Diddy. Alright? Just the same way nobody tells on Denzel Washington. People don't usually talk and stop and think about the children victims that are going through things right now as we speak, and the ones who suffered through all this bullshit. We've tried to tell you everything that we can, and now we have people messaging us, investigators, people that want to talk now, when now it's because it's trending. We're still not on the subject of the kids. All the adults are covering their asses. All the adults are, I left at a certain time, yet you knew children were there. You knew these parties were not okay. They weren't freak-offs. They were satanic ritual orgies. Get it straight. It wasn't just adults in these parties. The adults were responsible for the child slaves that were in the party. And one of those children were me. Now, those who are trying to come at us now, talking like, oh, well, now the Diddy's out, now that you can talk. For why? Because we tried to have a case with Child Protective Services. We gave them 8 months worth of evidence. 8 months worth of evidence. That didn't even do a crumb. They took that case and they hid it. If you are a survivor and if you are a real victim, be careful. Because these hotline numbers that they're putting out, I don't trust them. I wouldn't do it.
They take your information to see what you have.
They're taking inventory.
And then they shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking inventory. So don't trust them. Don't trust the feds. Don't trust the judges. Fuck all y'all. You're all guilty. You're all corrupt. Any attorney that's taking money to defend Diddy, you're nasty and vile.
That's blood money.
That's blood money.
That's all blood money. You do know that, right? Whether you take money from him to shut up, whether you take money from him for period, that's blood money. We don't have the military involvement. We are not working with white hats. We are working with everyday people who can come out and do something when they can. Who can come out and say, I can be security when I can. Who can come and cover us when they can. But that's not all the time. Right now, we by ourselves. Even though some of y'all are sitting pretty, trying to make the excuse of, oh, well, they were so evil, I was just trying to be undercover. No, bullshit. My face is out there. You little punk. My face is out there. You pussy. You see all the people running? They're ducking and hiding because everybody knows that there was children there. But we're still not talking about the kids yet. When are we going to talk about the kids? Everybody's demanding something from the victims. Why aren't you demanding it from the news? You know he's about to turn into another Epstein, and then the list follows and it circles back into a web. So why isn't anybody demanding any information on the kids? Huh?
Where'd that supply chain come from?
Do you think that thousands of bottles worth of baby oil was for thousands of who? $65,000 worth of hot dogs and pizza was for who? Trafficking over the border was for who? Child Protective Services is your supply. Is anybody going to talk about that? The immigrants that are coming across the border, that all those kids that they were just scooping up out of boats and out of the water, they're now coming in and they're throwing them right into the system. Aurora, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio. Where do you think all those kids are going? This ain't about an election anymore. Y'all know that, right? The election is canceled. Because everybody that you love, you don't live in the world you think you do. Everybody that you think is not guilty is about to show you who they really are. I've been screaming for years. We're not talking about the victims that are still going through the shit right now with other people who are running to cover their ass and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey. Why you running? We got legal evidence to drop. I just don't know what's the point. Yeah, I was at a Diddy party. I was one of the party favors. But I told you, nobody tells on Diddy. Maria Z, I did that interview in 2021. 7 months ago. We made sure, I already knew, that Diddy and Oprah is about to get arrested. I already knew that 7-8 months ago. I'm not the only one. There are too many victims. Victims that you don't even know their name. Victims that you'll never hear their laugh. Victims that you'll never know who the hell they were because everybody was so busy bouncing to their music. Didn't I tell you? Music is a diary. Are you now figuring that out? If you're trying to come towards me right now thinking that, hey, maybe she'll testify against what?
I don't trust none of y'all.
Testify against who? Testify against the same corrupt justice system that's not doing a damn thing for anybody? No, that can't be true. No, he can't be having satanic rituals. No, there's no way. Yeah, there is. And now you see. So now what you gonna do about it?
Now, for many of you, Cassie is the name that kicked this whole Diddy thing off. Some say that if he simply just paid her a settlement, none of this would even be happening to him. So why didn't he? What was that relationship really like?
New surveillance footage obtained exclusively by CNN appears to corroborate some of the allegations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs assaulting his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video. There is no audio. According to the complaint, Combs became extremely intoxicated and punched Miss Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye, which according to the lawsuit prompted Ventura to try and leave the hotel room. The surveillance video obtained by CNN begins as she enters the hallway. The complaint says as she exited, Mr. Combs awoke and began screaming at Miss Ventura. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel while yelling at her. The complaint goes on to say he grabbed her and then took glass vases in the hallway and threw them at her. In the surveillance video, Combs can be seen grabbing Ventura and throwing her to the ground. As Ventura lies on the ground, Combs then kicks her twice and attempts to drag her on the floor back to the hotel room.
What? What you gotta say now? What you gotta say now? You ain't got shit to say when you put your girl on the snap.
What people don't understand, that really goes on in Hollywood, how they do that black woman in order for her to go to the next level. It just done ran Toni Braxton out of her damn mind. She's shaving the side of her head like that woman who drink blood. The last woman who did that was Cassie. And Cassie is gone. Cassie is P. Diddy's slave. Did y'all know that? She is his slave. Oh, yes, she is. Every time you see Cassie with P. Diddy, she got her head down, she carrying bags. She's the mop-up girl. When P. Diddy want to impress him, he's bringing on, he let Cassie go down on him. He let that dude pop her in the butt, and P. Diddy sit back and masturbate while she's being ran in by his partners. Did y'all know that? I'm telling y'all some true Hollywood insider, brother. It gets down like that. That's the way they roll. And if you're a woman, especially if you're a sister, you come in with all that attitude, they're gonna rip you apart. The first thing they're gonna do is break you. They put this right in your face, like, okay, we worship the devil. We down with the Baphomet. Okay, we do lesbians and gay, and we do a little something. What? What you gonna do? What? Because you know why they're so bold with their truth? Because they know majority of the people in society are so dumbfounded and so beat down on these jobs that they'll take anything. And they do not have your best intentions. Like I told you in the early segment, they have to keep negativity, negative energy to make money. If everybody's happy, people gonna start thinking. Okay?
And some say that to some degree or another, Cassie was a willing participant in Diddy's shenanigans.
Ain't nobody got the courage to stick up for Puff. I do.
What do you mean?
Go ahead.
Hey, man,
see, you wasn't here, so I want him to hear this.
Cassie ain't the bitch y'all think she is. I always say this, man. Domestic violence is not always abuse because some bitches like to fight. Cassie is the same woman that would go to Puff Daddy's house while Kim Porter was alive and watch Puffy beat on Kim, cuss Kim out, abuse Kim, and laugh at Kim. Kim's friends have came out and it's documented that they say Cassie used to be torturing Kim with Puff. She is not this victim broad that everybody is making her out to be. This is a treacherous bitch. Anytime a woman that is that beautiful is dating a nigga that is that regular looking, she's hustling her pussy. This is a woman that hustles vagina, and we treating her like she a Claire Huxtable or a respectable everyday woman. This bitch is a libido whore. She's libido hungry, and she's money hungry, and she's eating, sucking, and fucking on anybody that got the paper. That $30 million settlement she got, a portion of that should go to Kim's kids.
Since we're talking about lawsuits, there seems to be more and more people coming forward, and new charges against Diddy are stacking up.
Diddy just got hit with 5 new lawsuits, so let's go ahead and deep dive each one of these right now. And of course, we are going to start off with one of the most shocking ones, and this is claims from a 13-year-old child at the time of this abuse. This woman filed a lawsuit against Diddy claiming that she was 13 years old when she was drugged and S8 at a house party with Diddy. Back on September 7th in 2000, she was 13 years old and had a friend drop her off at Radio City Music Hall in New York City so she could try to attend the BMAs. And this was during the time that J-Lo and Diddy were dating when we watched them attend the BMAs together September 7th, 2000 in New York City. This woman claimed that the event started and then everybody started to make their way inside, and she didn't have a ticket, so she remained outside, and she was determined to get into an after party. So she approached several limousine drivers attempting to get into the BMAs. One of the limousine drivers that she approached told her that Diddy was looking for younger girls and this girl would fit what Diddy was looking for, but he was unable to get her into the awards show, but he invited her to an after party. This woman claimed that the driver told her to return at 9:30 to 10 p.m., promising to take her to the after party, and later that evening she did return ready to go to this after party. She then would arrive about 20 minutes later at a big white house with a gated U-shaped driveway. Once inside, 2 men asked her to sign a non-closure agreement informing her that she could not discuss what happened at the party, and she gave them her name and signed the form, but she did not receive a copy. She got into the home. She saw a lot of celebrities, widespread drug use, waitresses carrying trays of drinks, and loud music playing throughout the house, and then she was offered a drink. She claimed that just after one drink, she began to get woozy and lightheaded and needed to lay down. So she was looking for a place to rest when she entered what she believed to be an empty bedroom so she could lay down, and she didn't lock the door. This woman also included a photograph of an example of what Diddy allegedly would use to insert GHB into alcoholic drinks. Claimed that after she laid down, Diddy, along with a male and a female celebrity, entered the room, and Diddy aggressively approached her with a crazy look in his eye and grabbed her and said, "Are you ready to party?" She claims that Diddy threw her to this other male celebrity that was in the room, and this celebrity began to remove her clothing. This celebrity would hold her down and SA her while Diddy and the female celebrity watched. And then after this celebrity finished, Diddy would begin SAing her while that man's celebrity and the woman's celebrity would watch. This woman claimed that Diddy then forced her to give oral to him, but she refused, and then he eventually stopped. She said then she grabbed her clothes, shoes, and she left the bedroom and ended up leaving the party, and she would go to a gas station where a female clerk noticed her distress and allowed her to use the phone so she could call her father to come pick her up. The next lawsuit is by a Jane Doe who claimed that she was SA'd and drugged at one of Diddy's famous after parties. On Memorial Day weekend of 2014, she claims that her and her two friends visited Las Vegas to stay at the Hotel Rio. She said while she was there, she met a man that identified himself as International Smooth. Smooth would invite her to this party and said that her friends were not invited because this was an exclusive celebrity party. Claimed that she looked this man up on Instagram and figured out that he was the promoter for Diddy's parties. She said when she arrived at this party, she met many celebrities, including Mary J. Blige, Lil' Kim, and Nicki Minaj. And she saw more that she didn't meet, but she took pictures and videos with many of these celebrities and posted them to her private Instagram page. This woman then claimed that she was introduced to Diddy, who greeted her and said that he hoped she had a great time at the party, and then eventually the party died down at Club Rehab, and she was invited by Smooth to an after party at Diddy's suite at Planet Hollywood Hotel. She said that once she got to the hotel, she talked to Diddy again, and he told her to help herself to the open bar, and she took photos of Diddy at this hotel room. Then went to help herself from the open bar, and she said after 40 minutes of having 1 to 2 drinks, she began getting woozy and lightheaded. This woman said that she went to tell Smooth that she didn't feel well and she would likely need to leave the party soon, and he directed her to an empty bedroom in the suite and told her to lie down until she felt better. Next thing that she remembers is waking up the following morning feeling very groggy and sore, and her entire body hurt and it felt difficult to move. She said as soon as she woke up, she saw that Diddy was in the corner of the room shirtless and yelling loudly with somebody over the phone. She noticed that somebody else had been in the bed with her, and out of fear and confusion, she remained silent about it until Diddy left the room and she heard the front door to the suite close. Then she would get up and she would leave the hotel and go meet back up with her friends and tell them exactly what just happened to her. The next lawsuit is by a man who said that he was SA'd at the Ciroc vodka party in Los Angeles by Diddy. This man claimed back in 2022 during a promotional party for the launch of Diddy's Ciroc vodka drink, he was SA'd by him. He said that he is a businessman and an owner of a family business specializing in renting luxury cars and jewelry, and he has known Diddy throughout previous years. He claimed that Diddy and him had a business relationship for many years, and Diddy would often rent vehicles and jewelry from himself. He said that Diddy personally invited him to the Ciroc party, and he accepted based on him and Diddy's relationship. This man claims once he arrived to the party, he saw many high-profile guests, and he took photographs of Diddy and these other high-profile celebrities sitting on the couch discussing Ciroc business. And these are the photos that he took. And Diddy's face is scaring the crap out of me. He's like, why are you taking this photo? I wish so badly that these faces weren't covered. This man claimed that Diddy invited him into his private office and he thought that they were going to discuss business. However, he realized that Diddy was intoxicated and acting strangely. He said that Diddy would begin moving closer and closer to him, and then he began to remove his pants and expose himself. Then claimed that Diddy grabbed a hold of his private areas and began squeezing them in a rough and weird manner. This man claims that the situation began to escalate until a professional athlete that's shown in this picture above entered the office and Diddy stopped what he was doing. This man claims that as soon as this happened, he got out of there and left that party to return home. The next lawsuit is by a man who claims that Diddy and an unnamed celebrity SA'd him at a 2022 award show after party. This man claims that he is a personal trainer and worked with tons of celebrities and notable figures over the years. He trained a fashion designer who told him that she shared his videos and workouts with Diddy and he was interested in meeting him. He then claims that this fashion designer extended an invitation to him for him to attend an exclusive award show after party in Los Angeles hosted by Diddy. He said on June 27, 2022, a Lincoln Navigator arrived to pick him up to take him to Diddy's residence in Hollywood Hills. He said that once he arrived at this party, he was greeted at the door and he had to sign an NDA and he never received a copy of it. He claims that after he signed this NDA, Diddy's associates handed him a drink and told him that he had to drink this drink before he could enter the party. He said while walking through the party, he saw tons of celebrities at this party, and eventually an associates of Diddy guided him to a large room illuminated with red lights into a smaller room. He saw dozens of individuals, including several well-known figures who were engaging in group activities. He began to feel disoriented, dizzy, and weak, far beyond what he would expect from consuming a single alcoholic beverage, and it became clear to him that something was wrong. He said at this moment he realized that he was significantly impaired, and he said Diddy would begin to approach him and remove his pants and begin performing non-consensual acts on him. He said that Diddy would order him to perform other acts on other individuals in the room, as well as a well-known celebrity that is mentioned in this lawsuit as being Celebrity A. He said after him and the celebrity was finished, the celebrity spit into his mouth. He said he started to go in and out of consciousness from whatever was happening to him after consuming this drink, and he said while in and out of consciousness, individuals at the party forced him into these acts with both men and women. He said the last thing that he remembers before totally losing consciousness is basically being passed around this party like a party favor. He claims that after he woke up after being unconscious, he found himself back at his home without a shirt and without his phone, unaware who took him back to his apartment or how he even got there. Last lawsuit is by a woman who claimed that Diddy drugged her and SA'd her. This woman claims that she was SA'd December of 2022 after being invited to a party with Diddy. This woman claims she believed that she was drugged after something was put into her drink and she would go unconscious and then wake up at 6 a.m. and notice a whole bunch of different marks all over her body. These are all of Diddy's new lawsuits. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Do you guys remember a while back when a guy named Jonathan Adi shot up a Trump hotel? Well, at the time, the things he said in the interrogation room sounded crazy. But with what we know now, a definite MO appears to be emerging, and he don't sound so crazy anymore.
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati. I had settlement with Sean, okay? And he belongs to that agenda. That's why he's so famous. They land all the contracts. It's his attorneys, which are Mark Garagos and Ben Mercedes. Ben Mercedes worked for Bad Boy Entertainment for 4 years and worked for Hillary Rodman for 5. Okay? When I take Sean the threat of death on me, okay? I don't have it, but I can make it available under secrecy. That means that I wouldn't be liable because I don't want to be getting framed for anything. Okay. I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business. Because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a sex slave. Okay, for them that's what I was. That's all. All right. I caught herpes, and I came back and I sued him for the herpes and won. But they did. Mark Garagos and Ben Mercedes were his attorneys, okay? And Christopher Leon's here was my attorney. They asked me to turn in that, which was the video recording, and I did so.
Okay.
The Mercedes family, Ben Mercedes, that works with Mark Garagos. Mark Garagos used to be Michael Jackson's attorney.
Yeah, out in Los Angeles.
Yeah. He had a Yeah, he drugged Michael and they OD'd him, okay? He didn't overdose. They OD'd him because they keep the royalties of the music. Michael alone made $860 million alone last year, okay, in 2017, which who keeps that royalty? The music companies. One is Diddy and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? They're gay.
Who?
Both. Diddy and Ross. And Khaled. They're all gay, okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Alright.
Khaled is a Hamas supporter. Okay.
Who supporter?
Hamas.
Hamas. Yeah.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
No worries.
Hamas supporter, okay? The hip-hop agenda was supported, was laid out by Obama during his last presidencies purposely. That's why they had Tupac killed, because when they kill them, you gain fame. When people, your record sales go up, and then people listen to your lyrics and everything, and then you become famous, okay? That's how they do it, alright? Tupac's still alive. He's in Cuba. Basically, what happened is the following. The hip-hop agenda is an agenda to move drugs all over the United States. You need to involve the DEA. They move all the dope, okay, all the dope on private jets, which don't get screened by
customs,
by inside the United States. Okay, they move what's called high grade powder MDMA. They move cocaine and they move liquid cocaine in their bottles too. Okay, so they put the liquid cocaine in the bottles and they move it. I've seen the liquid cocaine. I've drank it myself, having sex with Diddy and Cassie. Okay, it's not good. He drinks it all the time. Alright, he calls it G-juice, but it's liquid cocaine.
Alright.
It says here, I know this is random, but my name is Blank, and I was essayed by Diddy and a friend of his on April the 15th, 1989 in DC. It has took a lot of strength for me to get to this stage of self-assurance, but I now know that I have nothing to be ashamed of. I attended Howard University the same time he was there, and I was taken advantage of after an off-campus party. I will be the first to admit that I was a bit inebriated. Diddy noticed that I was intoxicated and offered to give me a ride back to my dorm. I trusted him at the time because we were acquainted with one another because we had an economics class together. So I get in the car with him and we ended up at an apartment. He gets out and says he needed to get something and he would be right back. After a few minutes, he came back to the car and invited me in, saying he needed to sober up before driving back to campus. I said, okay, cool. I get out and go into the apartment and there was another guy sitting on the couch. The guy introduces himself as Lorenzo and he was drinking E&J and smoking trees. Diddy goes to the bathroom and he is in there for about 30 minutes or more. He comes out and asks me if I want a drink and I said sure. He fixed me a drink and the next thing I know is I was weak, disoriented, and my vision was blurry. I was then told to snip something out of a bottle that would make me feel better, and so I did it and it just seemed to make me even higher. I now know that it was poppers. Then all I remember is both of them taking turns sticking their hot dogs in my mouth, and I'm paraphrasing guys, and me resisting all I could, but I was just weak and flimsy, and Lorenzo had a gun. The next thing I know, they both were taking turns trying to facilitate me, and blood and mud, alright? Paraphrasing here, what looks like mud, number 2, right, was everywhere. The pain of them facilitating me, and I'm paraphrasing again, still gives me anxiety to this day. Alright, so you guys just heard all of that, and I do want to protect the integrity of my platform and say that everything that I just conveyed to you is all alleged. Now, I did ask him, was he going to file a lawsuit against Diddy like everybody else, and he said he absolutely was. He was just getting all of his ducks in a row, making sure that everything is copacetic before he moves forth. But he says that Diddy is going to pay for what he did to him that night, that he's never been the same person ever since that night. Now, something else that he said that would be a game changer when he files a lawsuit against Diddy is the fact that he said that he still has the same clothes that he had on.
people had asked me about a situation. I don't even know how people found out about this situation, but they had found out about a situation with a chef called Jordan, right? I call her, her name is Jordan Chaton, and she was Diddy personal chef from like 2007, I say, to 2010. When I think back, and I remember one day specifically, it was after he had put in some work with Cassie. I think it was a assistant that he had named Jenna, and it was Chef Jordan. And I went to Chef Jordan and I confided in her that night. I said, man, puff up to this bullshit again. I said, yo, go check on Jen, because Jen was an assistant. So she was shook, she was shaking, she was this. So I don't want to get all into her business. So I tell her, hey, she a woman, yo, go talk to her. Well, I don't know why I told her to go talk to her, because when she went to talk to her, she did exactly what I said Cassie does. She went right back to Puff and said, yo, Chef Jordan came to talk to me about what happened last night. So when he starts screaming on Chef Jordan, why the fuck you worrying about my situation? Now he's up in her face. Yo, it's my business, and he poking at her head and all this other shit.
He's like physically
He's like pushing her head. You know what I'm saying? You know how somebody take your finger and he's talking to you, yo, you better not do this, better not do that. He ended up pushing her, and he pushed her out the door. That, you know what I'm saying? She fell on her ass and all that other shit.
And Diddy hands me a drink, Kanye hands Lauren a drink, and we're like, that's weird. Like, why are they serving us? And I don't like to drink. Like, I don't like alcohol. I don't like the way that it like makes me feel. It makes me feel sick. So, but my manager, since the beginning, she was just like, I know you don't like to drink, but if someone famous hands you something to drink, even if you don't want it, just like hold it and like pretend, because you don't want to seem rude. And I was like, okay. And it was like a vodka cranberry, and I was like, oh, gross. And so I'm just standing there with my back against the console, just like pretending to sip this drink. And I'm like, I'm not fucking drinking this. This is gross. And my manager was sitting across on this couch with Kanye's cousin, and then the other girls were sitting next to her. And immediately I was like, there's something fucking wrong. Like, I couldn't explain it. I didn't know what to do. But I just like felt that there was something not right. But I didn't fucking know what to do. I was 19 years old, like just left home a year ago, new in the industry. Yeah, I didn't know what to do, but I knew that there was something wrong, basically. And I was standing there pretending to sip this drink, and my manager was sitting across from me. And, you know, if you know about like my past and like us being together, like she's very much reserved. And people would always say like, oh, she's such a bitch, she has like a resting bitch face. And it's because she has like a severe like social anxiety. Like, she just wants to like sit in the corner and like tap on her phone and like not talk to anyone. So she's not a bitch, she's just very shy. And I see her across the room holding her drink. And it was weird because I noticed as I was standing there just kind of just like wondering what's going on, Diddy kept looking at me and Kanye kept looking at Lauren, and like they were exchanging glances. And I'm like, they're like watching me strangely. And I'm like, okay, let me pretend to drink. And like, I'm not actually doing it. And like that seemed to like make them happy, like me like pretending to like join in. And immediately I'm like, there's something fucking in this drink. There's something in this drink. And I didn't know what to do. And I like, my manager was like across the room, but like close enough, but like not next to me. So I couldn't like whisper to her, but I wanted to tell her, I'm like, hey, don't fucking drink this. There's something wrong with this. But I couldn't. So I reach for my phone and I start to type, and Kanye takes the phone out of my hands and he's like, who are you texting? Like, you don't need to text anyone. Like, we're having a party. And I was like, okay. And he like puts it on one of the speakers, and I'm like, fuck, now what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. And I see my manager take a sip, and I'm like, fuck. Like, fuck. Now what do I do? And then I see her take another sip, 2 sips out of this little vodka cranberry cup. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? 2 sips, and I watch her face flush. And all of a sudden, like, I look over and she's speaking really loud and like making jokes. And I'm like, whoa, like, this isn't her. Like, she doesn't make jokes. She's fucking terrified of people. Like, she doesn't even talk. And I was like, it's already hitting her. Like, 100%, I just knew that the drinks were all laced with something. And she starts like almost being like belligerent a little bit, but not in like a crazy way, just like really enjoying herself. And I'm like, that's not her. That's not her. She doesn't even want to be here. Like, this is weird. And all of a sudden she like dismisses the studio host. She's like, you can leave. And I'm like, oh my God, like what's going on? And the girls file out. They go to like a different studio, or they go somewhere. And I'm like, I have to do something. I have to do something. What do I do? And I go to get my phone where Kanye put it on one of the speakers. And as I'm going to get it, I turn and my manager's walking out. And I'm like, no. Like, where are you going? I'm already seeing people being like, this is cap. What do I have to gain? Let me just ask you, what do I have to gain? I'm in a fucking farm in the middle of nowhere. I'm not in the industry anymore. I'm not filing a lawsuit, so I'm not getting paid. I'm not looking for clout, because who gives a fuck about me? So why would I lie about this? This has been 9.5 years since this happened to me. Why would I? Let me go on. Whatever. Yeah, so I see her start to leave. And I'm like, where are you going? And she's like, it's fine, I'm just going to the bathroom. And I was like, no, stay. And she's like, it's right there, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay. And she walks out. And all of a sudden, I realize that I'm in this studio. The music's low, the lights are dim, but you can still like see everything. And I realize that I'm in the studio with Diddy and Kanye, and they're both off their shit. And there's 3 other men, an executive that works with Kanye, his engineer, and his cousin, and me, alone. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. And I haven't started freaking out yet. Like, I know what the situation is. I know, I know this is a bad place to be in, but I don't really feel scared yet, you know, like, because I'm like, there's other people around, there's other men around, and I know them, like I've known them for a while, like nothing bad's gonna happen. And I'm standing there and I realize that so this is like a pretty like sizable studio. There's like the glass doors, the couch there, a console, another console, the screen, all of that, but it's like it's pretty big, but you can still see and talk to everyone easily. And I realize that I'm standing really close to the exit. And it's a glass door and it opens in. And I'm standing pretty close to it. And I realize all of a sudden that Kanye and Diddy have realized that I'm the only girl in the room. And they're like fucked out of their minds. And they start coming towards me and they're like, don't you want to take your clothes off? Like, it's so hot in here. And I'm like, no, fine. I'm fine like this. And they're like, come on, like, it's just us. Like, we're all just friends. Like, let us just, like, see, like, how you look. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And, like, I still haven't gotten scared yet, you know? Like, I'm still, like, this is a bad situation. I'm creeped out, but, like, there's no reason to panic. There's other men here. Hold on a second. Feedback. Yeah, so they're coming towards me and I'm like, okay, this is fucked. I don't know where my manager is. I don't know where anyone is. And they're coming towards me more and they're trying to like take my clothes off. And I'm like at that point where I'm like, this is not good, but I'm like still trying to like play it off. Just like, stop, you guys are fucking stupid. Like, get out of here. Like, don't touch me. A little bit scared. Did this just freeze? Okay, no, it's back. Okay, so let me just get to the point. So they start trying, like, they're like pawing at me. Like, they're both drunk, probably on something else. And I start to get a little bit apprehensive because I'm pretty much like backed up against the wall. Like, there's only one exit and I'm pressed up against this door. And I'm still not completely terrified yet, but I'm like, you guys stop. Like, stop. And they're getting to the point where they have like ripped my shirt off. And like, I'm like almost fully exposed at this point. And they're both coming at me. And I'm like, you guys, like, seriously, this isn't funny anymore. And I look to my left where his executive is. Like, we know him pretty well. Like, we've been around him a lot. He's literally 3 feet away from me. Like, if I reached and he reached too, like, we could touch. Like, he's that close. And I look and I'm like, hey, like, I give that look where I'm just like, come on, like, step in. Like, this isn't cool. Like, you're a grown man. Like, you're like 50 years old. I know you have a family. Like, you know this isn't right. Like, do something. And this is the part that for as long as I live, I will never fucking forget. It isn't actually the aspect of being sexually assaulted. That's not what haunts me. It's this. It's as these 2 grown men were pawing at me, trying to take my clothes off, I look over to this man asking for help, and I literally mouth the word help. And we lock eyes. And he looks away. I'm like, okay, there's still 2 more men in the room. And I look to his engineer next, who's sitting right next to him. And I know that he's married and he just had a little baby girl. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna do something. And I look at him next and I'm like, okay, like, do something, say something, do anything. And he looks down at his phone and starts texting. And then I was like, oh, fuck. I look at Kanye's cousin next. And I'm like, do something, you know, like, fucking do something. And he spins his chair around. And that's when that, like, gut-wrenching fear set in. And I was like, oh, shit. No one's fucking saving me tonight. No one's gonna do anything. No one's gonna do fucking anything. And that's when I was truly fucking scared. At this point, they had ripped my shirt off and they were trying to get my pants off. And I realized that I was completely alone. And I closed my eyes for a second. And I was like, God help me. What do I do? And as my eyes were closed, this is going to sound weird because I bet a lot of you are wondering, like, how the fuck did you get out of this situation? My eyes were closed and I prayed. And I said, God help me, what do I do? And it was like clear as day. I heard this in my head. And it didn't make any sense. I heard, go towards them. And I was like, oh, fucking great. The one time I asked God for help, Satan answers, because why the fuck would I go towards these 2 predators who are sexually assaulting me? Like, why would I do that? And then all of a sudden it clicked. My back was up against the glass wall. I could not go any further back. That was the only exit. He said, go towards them. They were already drunk off their shit. They were fucked up. So I lunged forward. I stepped forward. And it, like, threw them off balance. Like, they were like, oh, you know, and, like, they stepped back at least 1.5 feet. And the moment that they did, I reached behind my back, I pulled the door, and I slipped out, grabbing my clothes. And I ran across the hall, across this corridor, and I hid inside of an empty studio that was black. And I sat there for, like, 20-25 minutes, just, like, crying, like, what the fuck do I do? And I'm texting my manager, and she's not answering. And eventually, I don't think I'm supposed to say this next part because it could hurt her case, but basically everything she fucking said is true, basically, because what I saw next, I fucking saw it. I was the only one who wasn't drugged. I was the only one who didn't drink their drinks, whatever it is. I was the only one. So I saw what happened next and who was involved. And that's why I'm a part of this lawsuit and, like, named in it. And yeah, it just, that, I mean, I got us both out and I got us in an Uber, and she obviously didn't remember anything because she was drugged and I wasn't. And apart from the aspect of, you know, looking for help and they turned away. The only other thing that really, really fucks with me is, what about all those other girls that were there? Those 9 other girls who were drinking the drinks before we even got there. Like, I know none of them got out. I know none of them got saved that night.
Everything's good. Selling out arenas and everything. Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, you know, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
Number? Yeah.